Hello everybody, so welcome to Self-Hypnosis Lesson 7. This is more of a technique than it is a self-hypnosis process, although it is self-hypnosis because you're doing something for yourself to help yourself. This is a wonderful technique for anxiety about anything in the future that might or might not happen, something you know that's coming up or something you might just imagine could happen. I used to use this a lot when I was going through a lot of insomnia a couple of years ago, and I found it absolutely wonderful for keep focusing on what I want, and it just alleviates the anxiety in that present moment. So here's how it works. We're going to do a little bit of time travel, and since time is a construct of the mind, yes, we can call it time travel. So find something or think of something that you're anxious about, something you know that's coming up in the future. It could be later today, it could be tomorrow, next week, whenever. Just something that makes you a little bit anxious when you think about it. When you've got something in mind, if you need to pause to think a bit deeper, just pause the video and then come back when you're ready. So when you've got that thing that you're anxious about, so like, for example, when it was insomnia that I was suffering with, it was the thought of going to bed. So when you've got your thing, be specific about it. What is it specifically about that thing that makes you anxious? So for me, it was seeing the time and knowing that bedtime was coming up. So if you can be more specific, we know which part of the brain is getting active when you think about that, so we can start to change those patterns in the brain. So when you've got your thing, ask yourself, how will I know that everything's worked out okay? We're looking here for a future scenario that will let you know that everything actually was okay and there was nothing to be anxious about. So I used to use the image of me waking up in the morning, having a good night's sleep, feeling rested and really good about myself. So because that's the ultimate for me, was to be able to sleep more so that I could feel better. So just imagining that I felt really better and everything was good. Nothing bad had happened, and that was my ideal scenario to wake up to. So when you've got your ideal scenario for whatever it is that you were anxious about or that you thought you were anxious about, and you've got that future scenario so that you know everything worked out okay. Again, if you need to pause the video, just do that. So now you can just close your eyes. So make sure in that future scenario you've got all the details, everything you can see, everything you can hear, what people are saying to you, what you're saying to yourself. So now I'd like you, in some sort of imaginary timeline, or just if you want to jump into a time machine, whatever you want to do, to travel out to the future. Just take yourself out to the future, whether you float there. So you can better done with your eyes closed. It's always easier to imagine things like this with the eyes closed. So traveling in your time machine or just floating out over the future, out into the future, to about 15 minutes after the successful outcome or successful completion of that event. So for me, it would be 15 minutes after waking up in the morning. So if it was a speech you had to give, 15 minutes after the successful outcome of that speech. And when you're at that position in the future, 15 minutes after the successful outcome of your event that you thought you were anxious about, look back to where you were sitting in the now, in the present moment, and just ask yourself, where's that anxiety now? Most often you'll find that anxiety is gone when you imagine the future outcome that you want and you know it happened because you traveled 15 minutes into the future after that event. That anxiety should be gone. If it isn't, for some reason, ask yourself, what am I imagining instead? And keep repeating the process until that anxiety is gone. And it's not usually okay to leave it down at some low level of a 2 or 3 out of 10. Aim to get it down to a 0 so that you feel calm and peaceful in the present moment. And whenever you're ready, if you've been doing that, following along with me, you can just bring yourself back to the present moment and open your eyes. And that is so easy to do anytime, any place when you have something that you're anxious about. Take yourself out into the future. How will you know it's going to be okay? Go beyond that event, the successful outcome of that event, and look back to where you were in the present moment and notice that anxiety will be gone. So use this whenever you need it, and I hope you enjoy your weekend.